When Nick Nurse took over the 76ers, I was expecting a change in the flow of their offense, but I did not expect this. Currently, the 76ers are ranked third in offensive efficiency, and after trading Harden to the Clippers, the 76ers now have a very fun offensive system surrounding Joel Embiid. Embiid's ISOs are down, his playmaking is up, his turnovers are down, and the combination of off-ball actions and movement from players like Maxey and Harris with a revamped transition offense make this 76ers team dangerous and difficult to defend. I'm always eager to watch certain teams in person in the regular season, and besides the Pelicans this year, the 76ers are now atop of my list. This season, it is easier than ever to find tickets to games and events with this video sponsor, Game Time. Navigating Game Time's app and website to find tickets to events is easy, and the ability to see what the view looks like from your potential seats is amazing. I'll be honest, I wish I had this feature back in 2018 when I bought tickets to the Ohio State football game against Penn State. I wish I had known that we'd have been stuck in the top corner covering half the field. Couldn't even see this when I purchased the tickets. But Game Time takes the guesswork out of what your view will look like, and you'll know exactly what to expect before purchasing your tickets. When looking through the app, I noticed great prices on the upcoming Hornets game against the 76ers, with a great flash sale for only $98 and very good prices for incredible seats at the Spectrum Center. Game Time is always looking to help you save money on tickets, including flash deals, great prices on last-minute tickets, and you'll always see your seat before you buy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code HALFCOURT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and then redeem code HALFCOURT for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The biggest and perhaps most important change that I immediately noticed when studying the 76ers playbook is how quickly they're getting out in transition, with basically all five players having the freedom or ability to grab and go. Getting players out early in transition, but most importantly, Maxey early out in transition is super important. Maxey was already a terror last year in transition. He's ramped up those possessions even more, and the 76ers offense as a whole in transition has ramped up even more. When looking at their numbers last year from cleaning the glass, you could see the efficiency was there, but the frequency was not. Last year, they were basically in the bottom third of all transition categories off of running in normal transition, off steals, and live rebounds. This year, they're basically top 10 and top 3 in overall transition frequency, which means they're getting out early, getting out often, and attacking before a defense can get set. Perhaps the biggest benefactor of this shift in philosophy or the aggression to attack early in transition is Tobias Harris. This season, 27% of his possessions are coming in transition, and he's scoring at a blistering 1.26 points per possession, both of those ranking in the top third of the NBA. Last season, he was at 18%, so this jump in transition possessions for Tobias Harris has made a huge difference to not only his game and his confidence, but the overall success of the 76ers offense earlier this season. In these early scoring opportunities, Harris has done a great job of recognizing when Embiid seals in the lane and creates a driving lane for him. And driving these seals means that the rim protection is occupied with stopping Embiid or not allowing an easy entry pass. And this allows Harris to drive to the basket with basically no rim protection. He loves doing this early. As Embiid seals, they seem to have a pretty good feel for how they're playing off each other. Another advantage of their transition offense is Embiid's ability to handle the ball, so he can be a grab-and-go guy too. This leads to early advantages for the 76ers, not only through Embiid attacking, but Embiid being able to grab and go and then also catch the ball in transition and attack and go into an early post-up or an ISO or get into a secondary action. The attention Embiid draws allows him to play make more in transition. Here, Kuzma helps in the gap. This allows for a trail 3 for Melton, for Embiid to find him for an easy look. And Embiid's playmaking out of the post has been a lot better this season, so when he draws 2 in the trap here, he's able to find open players easier. This season, he's only turning it over on 7.5% of his possessions when he's trapped, compared to last season where he was at 15% of the time. Here, he's able to find Batum easily for the kick-out 3. Later, we will talk about their spacing and cutting and their flow offense, but in transition, they do a great job as well. Here, Harris cuts in through the lane and ends up drawing the foul. And the attention Embiid draws means that these opportunities to cut are wide open. Here, we get a pass into a ball screen. Oubre is able to cut behind the defense that helped. Maxey does a good job of finding him for the layup. Nick Nurse has been a big fan of 4-out slot attacks, so you'll see them come down on one side, swing it to the other slot-to-slot pass, and then attack, especially the defense is going to load to one side of the ball, which is what transition defense tries to do. Then after they swing it, it's a quick attack trying to attack before the defense gets set. The reason I love the 76ers offense is their off-ball spacing and cutting action that Nick Nurse and the staff have clearly emphasized. We'll go back here and look at how this one cut draws 3 defenders from Kelly Oubre here into space. 3 defenders react and have to at least honor that cut, and Tyrese Maxey is wide open for a 3. So these backdoor cuts don't always result in points, but if you cut hard, and the 76ers do, it creates other scoring opportunities. So here Harris cuts into space, draws 2, Melton lifts up behind and is able to knock down the catch and shoot 3. Early in transition, Batum cuts inside and basically sets a double screen on 2 players. That allows Harris to catch and attack downhill early before the defense can get set. And this is where Tobias Harris' value really shines through, where his off-ball IQ and his cutting into space is very valuable. In transition as well, you'll see him find spaces and pockets to cut into, either in front of or behind the defense. That allows him to get easier scoring opportunities before the defense can get set. As a part of their cutting game, they run this through action and then flash Embiid to the elbow and run split action and cuts off of that, essentially getting Embiid an elbow touch with spacing, and it makes it tough for the defense to have any coverage against it. So you'll see after the through cut here from Maxey, the ball gets reversed to the wing to Tobias Harris, and then Embiid flashes to the ball side elbow. This then triggers split cut action on either side, and you can read the game here. So Harris screens down for Maxey on the ball side with Embiid at the elbow. A trap comes, and the backdoor cut is wide open for a layup. This elbow touch and action allows basically Embiid to make plays, but also simplify the offense a little bit, where you can have a basic read of a back screen, a reject screen, slip. Here, nice little back screen from Embiid, and then Maxey cuts with a nice pass. Not only does this open up the offense spacing for split cut action, but this also opens up Embiid's drives a little bit easier, so defenses can't trap and can't sit and gap help as much as they possibly can. It allows for Embiid's ISO, or even if he catches at the elbow and there's no real overload defense or help defense, you'll see him with a catch and quick grab and go and attack. When their initial offense is stopped in transition, they like to go to these empty ball screens where Embiid can roll into empty space. And if Maxey takes that space and you don't stop the ball properly, it's basically an easy open roll for Embiid to either hit the layup or a nice easy mid-range pull-up. They'll also go to these empty ball screen looks, and if you do help, Embiid's still skilled enough where he can just score over top of you. It essentially creates an easier look for Maxey and Embiid to read the game. Teams will try to ice this or force the ball away as well. As you can see them getting on Maxey here and force him to the sideline baseline in an ice coverage. Then Embiid can just hit a pick and pop 3 over you. The goal of this, if you play aggressive especially, is to just free up Embiid from more space in the post. So you can't sit him on the post, you can't deny him. He can roll into the post basically unimpeded. The most common action these 76ers run is this slot-to-slot flip action, which is one of my favorite actions to personally run as a coach too. Running it in semi-transition, in the flow of the offense, driving basically right at the nail at the slot, and forcing the coverage to either be a switch or, mixing up who you're running it for. So they'll run it for Embiid, you'll see them run it for Harris, you'll see them run it for Maxey. They basically can switch up and run it for whoever they're looking to get the ball going downhill or just a quick action. And one of the things that they'll do probably in the playoffs is have the player they want to hunt. So here Dame is involved. He hedges on the flip, and instead of actually switching it, ends up being an easy Maxey layup. So they'll kind of tweak who they have running it for different players to take advantage of the personnel that they have that specific game. The counter or the read to this is to fake the flip and drive to the next player on the wing. This is kind of like the dribble drive action where you can fake the handoff, go right into the flip to the side, and then continuously look for that drive and kick and flip game. This is designed for, like, if Oubre has it going or Oubre has an advantage, to fake the handoff, hit Oubre, and then he can attack downhill to his left hand, or they'll flip it to the player driving with their right hand and vice versa. Their bread and butter play when they need a bucket will still be the Maxey Embiid pick and roll. Last season, it was the Harden Embiid pick and roll, which was absolutely devastating for defenses. Embiid's sheer scoring power alone and threat alone and Maxey's speed makes the tweaking to this a little bit more dangerous. Maxey's less of a playmaker than Harden, but Embiid can pick and pop to three. He can roll into mid-range. He can roll to the rim. Just the Embiid threat alone makes these reads easier for Maxey so he can grow into that playmaking role. But this play is going to be their bread and butter for when they need buckets late in games and later in the season. Here we get a play call from Nick Nurse, fish short, which is a classic D'Antoni play where you short the ball screen. This is a play that they've run for the past 4 or 5 years for Embiid. Essentially, it's a ball screen angled around the elbow with a player in the dunker spot, typically like a guard or a wing, with Embiid setting that ball screen. He shorts it so you can see every player is on one side except one. If he doesn't help, it's an easy roll for Embiid, essentially allowing Embiid to roll into a pocket of space unimpeded. And if they help, the dunker spot or player low is open for the drop-off pass. It's a very hard play to guard. You'll see a lot of teams run it, especially like the Nuggets run it for Jokic all the time with Jokic and Murray. It's a tough cover. And then if they do stop it initially, you'll see the 76ers now get into the next action or like a swing into a handoff or a ball screen with nobody stopping the ball. They'll also run this same concept with Tobias Harris setting the ball screen, usually in like the second units with Maxey. You'll see him setting it around the same angle and then looking to get the switch. And if they switch, you get a isolation play for Harris. Or if they switch a big onto Maxey, like they do here with Stewart, you'll see Maxey get the ball back and go into ISO situations. And then if they don't switch it, like if they hedge and have to recover, this usually allows for a easier opportunity for Harris to catch and attack downhill. Outside of after timeout plays, they don't run a ton of stuff in flow for an Embiid post-up. What they do is they will set a double ball screen with Embiid as his second roller, hit the player who pops the perimeter and look for a high-low pass. So you can see empty, Harris pops, Embiid sits in the post. It's just like another way to create a ball screen coverage and then get Embiid to roll into the post a little bit easier. Now, they will also run this for Tobias Harris with Embiid picking and popping and getting a high-low, which I really like and is really creative. Thank you so much for watching this breakdown. If you like this video, please feel free to check out the Coach's Cut in the description with the extended playbook and play breakdown from the 76ers offense.